All right. So, good morning. Good evening, everyone. We are just waiting for Mr. Shailesh Bagwe to join. We will be starting this very soon. Allow us a minute. And while we are waiting for him to join, I will request everyone else to feel free to. Hey, Shailesh, you're here.
Hello, I'm here.
Thank you so much for joining on time, and we are already live. So, yep. How was your
Yes.
day, and how's your week going?
Oh, everything is perfect. It's Christmas time, festive time, so I think can't
Ah,
complain. Looking forward
right, right,
to
right.
the breaks that everybody looks for the break. But
Definitely,
for
definitely.
me, there is no kind of break as such.
Mm-hmm.
Every time is a good thing.
Right, right, right. Definitely. So I hope you are prepared for the today's debate.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward. It's exciting times.
Right, right. Definitely, definitely. So I know this the origin. I mean, I understand the background that okay, recently what happened in
Hmm.
South Auckland. I don't want to name. I will leave this to you to
Yes.
attend.
Hmm.
Democracy compromise. So what do you mean by democracy compromised? Are you saying that the current existing government is something who is not looking into it, or there's some wrongdoing? What exactly you mean to say democracy compromised?
Yeah, first of all, let's talk about what exactly democracy means. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
let's get into what exactly means to the people and to the country and to the nation internationally, nationally, that we stand for. Because everything
Hmm.
drives for every country is the constitution of the country.
Right.
So, first of all, we need to understand what exactly the change, why there is a change,
Hmm.
because this is like a constitution passing the laws, passing the legislations, passing the rules
Hmm.
for a reason that every government does for betterment of the country. For betterment of the country means for the betterment of the people of the country. And democracy is exactly for the people, by the people, of the people. So it's going to be very interesting to understand first why this change is required at a time now
Hmm.
and why so hurriedly. It's all about this change. Did
Hmm.
not had any who and cry for the last 1 year or 6 months. It's just like came out of the blue, I guess. And then last week it was passed hurriedly for changing the law to ensure they have every electoral commission is responsible for it, but it is the government of the day also makes the law in the parliament,
Hmm.
and then election commission has to like follow the law, follow the rules. So when I say, or when we say that democracy, so first let's understand what democracy is. Democracy, as we understand, like the largest democracy that we have today is America. We have India, one of the largest democratic country. And then we say that China is largest population, but they are not democratic. We say they are communist. And then we have capitalist, and we have conservative, the the Arab countries or other countries, they are conservative, and they follow different rules, different constitution. But let's talk about New Zealand, because we are not interested in what others are, but it does affect everyone internationally. Why people come to us is because of democracy, because they are allowed. In democracy, it is for the people, by the people, of the people. It is not stopping anyone to come to our country as long as they abide by the rules and regulations
Hmm.
that the country dictates. Whereas some countries, they don't allow you. There is a strict rules. They don't allow you willy-nilly easily if they are not democratic, I personally feel. So let's understand democracy, Ravi. Democracy is absolutely, helping each other, supporting each other, or looking after each other, or, having, working with each other, and irrespective of their social economic background, irrespective of their culture, traditions, language,
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. Democracy is for the people, by the people, of the people. Very well, clearly said about that. Otherwise, there are some countries like, they say, oh, you are not from this culture, or you are not around this language, you don't speak this, so we won't be allowing you and able to do this and do that.
Mhm.
So democracy is a very, very wider term used, and even when America became democratic, that's where the democracy uplifts the country because it allows everyone, and then the country grows because everybody grows in that country, and the
Mhm.
country grows as well. So they allow individuals also to grow, and individuals then collectively grow the country, basically. So it's a very broad and very, very much like happening. This is how the humanity prevails. This is how the human rights, human entitlement prevails. And then democracy talks about human rights, human entitlement, and humanity. So I think it's very important for everyone to understand that democracy is the crux of everything, but also New Zealand is a state welfare country because it is governed by the UK, which is still under the monarchy,
Mhm.
but still it operates as democratic. It still operates because it still values and respects every culture, including the indigenous Maori,
Mhm.
including the immigrations. All sorts of immigrant are allowed here. There is a kind of certain countries otherwise they are banned. Certain countries are banned in entering the country because of their whatever international status situation. So anyway, New Zealand allows quite nicely to integrate every country. That's why we have multiculturalism in our country as well. We have more than 200 languages spoken as well in our country. So you
Mhm.
can imagine how much embracing is the law and the rules of New Zealand. So I think democracy first we let's understand democracy, and then who drives the democracy. So does the economic conditions drive the democracy? Does the wealth of the country drives the economy of the country of the democracy, or what exactly drives the democracy? So the first and foremost, not many people or many people know that New Zealand became the first country to give voting rights to women and internationally. And that is how democracy then prevailed, that it was not for only men or children or anyone, but it was for everyone, and even including women. So you know how in good old days there were certain haves, certain have nots, and certain men were allowed to do things and women were not allowed to do things. But all that changed where New Zealand was great instrumental into the world, saying that woman needs to vote and woman vote counts. So that is the first step that we need to understand, that that became the first democratic right of a
Mhm.
human
Right.
in our country and from our country. So
Mhm.
this is very interesting. So anyway, now we come back to the I was telling you, why do we want to do this topic, electoral changes or electoral
Mhm.
policy that are changing,
Mhm.
and are we compromising the democracy in that process, or are we undermining the democratic process, or are we completely changing from our status of democratic country to something else, or mix of something else? What are we? So that's let's talk about that. So
Mhm.
electoral law changes means that is the first and foremost, you have as a human, as a citizen, as a resident, you have the right to vote, and your vote counts. And voting gives voting gives the country to appoint, to select, to vote, and to govern the government. It's not the other way around. The people of the country votes and a government is formed. It's never the other way around, that government says that I will choose you and you will just vote for me. It's never
Mhm.
like that. They have a democratic right to vote anyone, and they can create a government that they want. So the right becomes the major thing. Now, where is how the right is exercised is through votes.
Mhm.
And that is the power that every human has got in our
Mhm.
country. and in any country where there is a democratic voting process, that vote becomes the instrumental and the most important. I say it is the most important weapon. If I say, then it doesn't look nice, but it's
mm,
the most birthright, instrumental right of the
mm,
human to exercise, and nobody can stop it. Okay, but there are rules around it. Now, that rules should be democratic, should be not undermining the human rights, should be not undermining the human entitlement.
mm,
So it's a big question whether human rights, human entitlement with this law change has been compromised. Now, if that is compromised, then the democracy is compromised. So that's why we were trying to understand that is this democratic right of human is been compromised. So this was passed very hurriedly to start with. Last week only it happened. So we are in time to do this because this will decide the voter and the next government in the coming year, which is the major election for New Zealand to form a government.
mm,
At the moment, the laws that are changed, we have to first let's see whether analyze it, whether the laws, what exactly the changes they are making, and is it really compromising the democracy, or is it for the better of the people, or is it better for the political parties? It's a very
mm,
big thing that we need to understand
mm,
whether it is good for the country, good for the people, or it is not good.
mm.
So let's see first the changes that has been made. Okay, I think important is when Paul Goldsmith, who is the responsible person, minister, who made the pass the legislation, which he understands that it helps future elections are timely and efficient. He made the statement, according to him, so that future elections are timely and efficient. So what it means, like, it can be very much in time for counting, very much in time for giving enough time to count and elect the results and announce the results. And then it's efficient, it is efficiently done. So while the core principles are quite good, that yeah, every process needs to be efficient and timely, then only it matters. The core principles are guiding our elections. However, they are delivered needs to adapt over time to keep up with changing trends, new challenges, and new technologies. So we have been, there was a time when people used to vote on ballot. Now we have to vote digitally online. So it becomes easy, efficient, timely, and you can dictate the time frame. You know, with the manual counting, you can't dictate the time frame possibly. But still, I think let's understand first why this change required. Is it required, or is it been just hurriedly done for the benefit of something that nobody knows? The people doesn't know, because people only know that whether I have the right to vote or I don't have the right to vote, whether I have enrolled, whether I am allowed to enroll, I am not allowed to enroll. They only know that. Most of the people, they know there is huge right. It's not just voting, it's not just registering for electoral. They have a huge responsibility and a huge right that they can challenge the government of the day, anyone, any government of the day, if they are not allowed democratically. So you were talking about the first, that about the recent election, local government elections that happened, and in South Auckland, where the democracy was compromised, or
Right.
where the voting rights were compromised. And that is a concern. And if you can imagine, the law has taken its own course. I don't have to say whether they were right or wrong. The judge decided that it was not incorrectly done, not correctly process followed. There
Right.
were lots of irregularities.
Right. But before we get into that side of the issue, if you can just brief us,
Yeah.
people who just got connected and don't know about it, if you can just talk about it, that what exactly the incident was and how it took place and who got benefit out of it. Was it from national of from somebody from other party. Yeah,
You mean the local government, that election that happened?
exactly. That, yes.
Yeah, no, that instead of we saying that who benefited, it was
Hmm.
the process that the candidates used,
Hmm.
which used as per the electoral process.
Right.
However, when they use that process, they have to be very honest, sincere, and not manipulate.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, one would argue, why
Right.
was it manipulated? Was the system not enough proof to
Mm.
not manipulate? Was the system so weak?
Mm.
Or was it done on purpose by there was loopholes that were
Mm.
used? Or is it a clear cut obvious kind of a scam or a fraud that happened?
Mm.
Okay, there are
Right.
lots of analysis people did, but I think one of the major things is the candidates that they were winning, they won, all the candidates were win, who
Mm.
were standing. One Action Trust, Papatoy Action Trust, I think that organization they were. So before, there were candidates who supported, Labor supported or National supported, two
Mm.
political major parties supported. But
Mm.
this was a complete third political group that was created for
Mm.
the purpose of that local suburb.
Okay.
And when they created that, it was not anything to blame Labor or National, but they don't
Mm.
belong there officially.
Right.
They belong to a group officially, and everybody stood on from that group. So the issue that happened, or the things that were brought to the notice was like, one, 79 votes were voted, they found,
Hmm.
where they had not voted, yet
Oh
they were voted. So you can imagine
my
that
goodness.
kind of thing. So, and that is very easily happen. Say for instance, if I don't vote and I have an
Mm.
election form, electoral form, and I
Mm.
don't use my form, but
Mm.
somebody else uses my form, but I have not done it, I have not used it. So
But
it
how
is
will
very,
the person will get the information? How, because you have to fill your information, right?
yeah, see, this is where I think most of the letter boxes they get the electoral forms,
Uh-huh.
and the electoral forms were actually missing from the postal boxes of people. So
Uh,
somebody stole those postal ballot papers,
mhm.
and they use that information online to just vote, basically, because all the electoral forms has got all the information, everything. So they
So
just
don't you
have
think
to.
it's like a step back?
Hmm,
Government should think about the way we are voting at the moment, right?
absolutely.
Instead of just submitting via envelope, rather than
Hmm.
how we have in other countries, you actually appear and you tick mark and you vote, and that's where you mark that, hey, you have voted, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There is no counter check or what they say, monitoring of the process. So
Right.
process may be good, but is it a process to monitor and to ensure that it is checked? That is $1 million question. That is what you said correctly, that
Mm.
they should have that kind of, where I'll give you a simple example. Like
Mm.
when in COVID, MIQ was a good process to
Mm.
put people into MIQ, whoever
Mm.
comes from overseas or local, so that they
Mm.
can there 1 week, 2 weeks, they can stay there. The
Mm.
process was good, but the everything was good. But if you don't monitor that, then people can
Mm.
easily go out, spread out. If there is no security, if there is no systems that allow them to secure those people, and
Mm.
you manipulate or misuse, or the security
Mm.
guard is not correct, then
All right.
you can't have manual mistakes by humans. You have to
All right.
cater for that, because human mind
Mm.
can do all these things, but that is
All
why
right.
the process has to be bulletproof. So
Mm.
yeah, so
Mm.
something of that sort definitely needs to happen, Ravi, in
Mm.
terms of the electoral local, and that is local government or central government, it doesn't matter, the process is same, electoral commission is same, and the process is same for both. The only difference is we have a major government formed in the major government elections, and we have local government formed in the local government elections, but they still are equally kind of powerful and important for the democracy of the country. for election and for electing people.
Mhm.
So when ministers or when people are elected, they are responsible to abide by the rules. They have more responsibility to abide by the rule because they are the law. They
Mhm.
are creating law. They are making law. So if they only don't follow their law that they are making, then it becomes absolutely compromised democracy. Then it's like, is it a democracy or is it like the dictatorship that I can do
Agree.
anything? I've got the power. I am an MP. I can do anything. I am
Mm.
local government. I can do anything. I'm a representative of local government. I've got the power. I can manipulate. I can documents, change, manipulate
Mm.
things, everything, because I got the power. But
Mm.
they need to be more responsible to use
Right.
that power. That's what is all about. That's why it's $1 million question of whether are we saying the democracy has been compromised,
Mm.
because these are the people who make laws, and if they only don't follow the laws, then it becomes
Mhm.
difficult, right?
Right.
Like for example, there was a in COVID, lot of things happened. The health
Mm.
minister, the transport minister, they misuse. So a transport minister was using phone in the plane when he was flying, and
Mhm.
being a transport minister, if he doesn't follow the rule, then hey,
Mhm.
what is the common man going to do? Same thing with the health during COVID. If ministers cannot, they don't follow their own rules, then it becomes a
Mhm.
big. So election is a big thing. Voting is a
Right.
big thing.
Mm.
Electoral commission. Now we'll come to the role of the electoral commission, as you rightly said, that
Right.
they should do something. Is it
Mm.
the onus lies on who? Yes,
Mm.
one is the people misusing or
Mm.
manipulating, but then who is giving that monitoring management? Who is doing electoral commission?
Mm.
So is there a robust system to
Right.
combat these, weaknesses, to
Mm.
combat these loopholes? Is there a robust system? Is there a good check? Is there a healthy environment to do that? And that's the $1 million question. Again, electoral commission's role is very
Mm.
much important when they make
Mm.
policies or when they make rules and regulations.
Mm.
They are also equally responsible to ensure that the
Mhm.
process is conducted properly, the process is monitored properly, and in the end, the outcome of the election process
Mhm.
needs to be transparently conveyed or presented, you know, not like just for the sake of presenting a report you present. It's
Mm.
never like that. It shouldn't be like that. So I think
Right.
electoral commission has got a big role, big responsibility, Ravi,
Uh-huh.
in terms of that.
Uh,
So
right.
so let's. I want to just make here, um, now that we are into a digital world. So as I was telling
Uh-huh.
you before, electoral commission is changing as per the trends of the country, of the world. Okay. So
Mhm.
if we have computerized, if we have electronic, if we have digitalized, then as much as possible we should utilize that
Mhm.
form of technology. And it's good to use technology
Mhm.
to run the process smoothly and make it foolproof process, rather
Mhm.
than a lot of loopholes and a lot of weaknesses. So what they have done, another thing is, they said that no more postal votes,
Mhm.
no more postal things you can do. You don't have to do any postal things.
Right.
What we are saying, that we will update your records digitally
Mhm.
from different parts of different sources of the
Mm.
government.
Right.
So like as a citizen, as a resident, your record, New Zealand is a very good country when it comes to computerized information about individuals.
Mm.
Everyone has got that your my individual information records everywhere, you know
Mm.
like the passport office is the first, Ministry of Internal External Affairs, then we have Ministry of Justice, then we
Mm.
have social development, then we have ACC, then we have IRD, you name it, and
Mm.
everybody's information is caught somewhere or the other.
Right.
You can't miss out. The question is, with the digital, it becomes very
Mm.
easy for not
Mm.
relying on the people to send
Mm.
that information. They have
Right.
got access to their information. But the question is, you can do that and update that
Mm-hmm.
and that's less work for the people. But then they are also saying that we don't need, other than your name, address,
Mm. Mm.
we don't need date of birth, name, address. We don't need anything from you. No qualification is required, no experience is required. You
Right.
before it was supposed to be filled out in the form, in a
Mm.
manual form.
Mm. Mm.
They were
Mm.
asking all these questions, so that
Mm.
they were relying on that. There was a different data analysis can be done by capturing that
Mm.
information. But
All
now they
right.
are saying we are making it simplified. We don't want people to fill out forms and fill out information that we don't need. What we need is only name, address, age, and whether you have got voting rights or not. So that,
Mm.
because you have enough, the stay, and you are 18 years
Mm.
old or not, so date of birth. So they can ask you and
Mm.
remind you by sending emails digitally that, hey, you
Mm.
are eligible to vote, please vote. So they can do all that things digitally.
All right.
Before, they were relying on people to tell them and
Mm-hmm.
register them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a very critical question that they are done. So, one thing
Mm.
is digital aspect is great. I agree to a large extent, but
Mm-hmm.
then by not, but but eliminating some information from the individuals like
Mm-hmm.
qualification, experience, and all of that, which is fine. You don't need
Mm.
that for electoral voting. We understand that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Before, that data probably was used for many different things to understand
Mm.
from one person, but now they don't
Mm.
want. That's okay. I agree to some extent on that. However,
Mm.
the one that they have done is 13 days prior to the voting,
Mm.
you are supposed to register.
Mm.
And if you don't register 13 days prior, after that, if you try to, you are not eligible. You will be not able to register, and you will not able to vote. Now, this is
Mm.
where the whole question comes, Ravi, that what we are doing today. I'm a
Right.
bit concerned about these 2 weeks, because I
Mm.
saw the report, I saw the statement in the media for electoral commissions when they were asked by the reporters that is it going to make difference by putting 13 days prior? Is it
Mm.
going to make a huge difference to the voting counts, to the efficient process, to presenting the reports faster,
Mm.
or the counting process is becoming efficient and faster by putting this rule of 13
Mm.
days prior?
All right.
The electoral commission said no, it doesn't make any difference whether you vote on the last day of the voting, you enroll on the last day, or vote on the last day. They both were there up till now. That is the process in New Zealand.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So why suddenly this 13 days magical figure
Mm-hmm.
number? Why not 1 week? Why not 1 month?
Right. Right.
This is my question.
Mm.
And I don't know what people think about it, but they have
Right.
their own opinion to understand. So I am
So,
asking
so
this
you
question.
feel there's a wrongdoing in the duration which they have selected, which looks not very efficient. Is that what you mean to say?
I mean to say that why make those, what made those 13 days number? Where does this come? What research have they
Came from.
done? What are they
Okay.
trying
Okay.
to achieve?
Mm.
What are they trying to achieve? Because when they said that
Mm.
they want efficient and timely and
Mm.
fast tracking the counting
Mm-hmm.
process, so that counting
Mm-hmm.
process can be done faster,
Right.
but the electoral commission said it doesn't make any difference, the counting process will remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to make any changes whether you vote 2 days, 2 weeks registered. But what it does, the other side of the
Right.
coin,
Right.
what it does, the other side of the coin is, if you not allow people to
Mm-hmm.
vote until the last day and only restrict them 13 days prior,
Mm-hmm.
then up till now, what was happening, and this is the statistical data that we have in
Mm.
2023 elections, when that happened major, more than 100,000 people voted on the
Mm-hmm.
last day, enrolled on the last day. So
Right.
what are we now setting the precedent, setting a tone for this election? We are actually eliminating many people who are last time voters, last day voters. Put it this way. If I am a last day voter, I won't be allowed because I have not enrolled 13 days prior. So I won't be allowed. And this is where my democratic right, I want to ask, is it compromised? Because by restricting this legislation, by putting this information that I won't be able to vote if I don't register before that. So that's my $1 million question, where I feel that my democratic right could be compromised, because that's my only right to form a government or to vote a government that I want. And if I'm not allowed, and if I have a timeline for that, then my right as a democratic right, is compromised because I'm not allowed until now. People may argue, people may think, why are you sleeping until last day? Why can't you do it a bit proactive? Which is fair, which is what we all humans have to do, a little bit of proactiveness for everything and anything when it matters. But there are many abnormalities. As I always say, there are always exceptions to many rules. Like if I am sick, if I am unwell, if I am on my own, if I don't get time with my circumstances, and if I'm overseas and I don't get time just during those 13 days time, I'm not here, and I have to now forego my voting right, not because of I was not proactive, but I don't have to do 6 months before. If I have to do it, I will wait until my informed decision of political parties. This is where I want to argue, Ravi. Political
Mm.
parties during the election year, they campaign on
Okay.
many things, and then people want to know what this policy this political party has, what policy this political party has got. And when I have an informed decision, it may take up to the last day of the voting,
Mm.
it may take up to 1 week before, it may take up to the last day. So why I am not been allowed to make an informed decision of my own, and forced to enroll myself irrespective whatever I think the
Mm.
political agenda, political parties say, we don't care about your mindset, even though the people are the one who elect the government. They should be electing the government, not the government should be telling them. That's where my question is. By
Mm.
doing this, are they saying the government that, hey, look, you don't have a choice? 13 days is 13 days, but I'm not going to
Mm.
justify you why I want 13 days. Why not 6 days? Why not 1 day? Why not 1 month? So I'm again coming back to that magical question, why 13 days?
Mm.
What is the reality of that, right?
Right.
So this is something that I wanted to dwell on today, is the democracy being compromised. We have seen recently back in India also, the electoral commission has become a big issue of all of a sudden. Now we understand the dynamics, the population over there is quite high, different. See, the other part I want to highlight here, Ravi, is one is you have got a circumstances that you cannot enroll.
Mm.
The other thing is there are many people who are uneducated or who doesn't know anything about the electoral commission's rules and regulations, and
Mm.
nobody is that informed to spread awareness. And if I'm not educated, and if I am nobody tells me in advance, I miss out, because if
Right.
I cut off the 13 days, I miss out. So again, it's not just like social economic people. So are they
Mm.
not wanting the people on deliberate to
Mm.
enroll, or are they making it harder for the people? What is it? So
Mm.
that everybody can decide as per their circumstances, whether they are making my life harder to not vote, or they are making me eliminate from voting because I am this, I am that. Now they are eliminating me by putting these restrictions of 13 days prior. And that is a $1 million question, Ravi. Everybody
Mm.
has to have their own analysis, their own circumstances. I cannot speak for everyone, but I speak from one thing, one point of view, that 13 days, I still have got a question to every political party.
Mm,
Why 13 days? What are you going to, what are the benefits? Who is going to benefit? And what I see from here,
mhm,
as you have seen, this is a coalition government comprising of three political parties.
mhm,
You know, the one thing important part, Ravi, is in New Zealand, we have
mhm.
got a very less voting turnout. Okay.
Right, right.
Now, when you have a less voting turnout,
Mhm,
you have got less options, minimal options
mm,
of how to make voters aware to
right.
vote in majority.
Mm,
Have they done enough to make sure that everybody votes who is
mm,
enrolled or who
mhm,
is eligible to enroll or who is entitled to enroll? Is it the whose responsibility is to make
mhm.
sure that they vote and make sure that they whoever is enrolled needs to vote, but whoever is not enrolled also needs to be enrolled,
Right.
because that's where you actually create a good democracy, and you
Mm,
give equal opportunities for
mm,
each political party to say that, hey, the voting turnout was less, that's why I
mm,
didn't win. No, it's not like that. They can
mm,
easily say that no, everybody has been given enough notice and everybody has gone being given equal rights to vote
mhm,
by
mhm,
electoral commission, and they have ensured and they have make sure that they spread awareness to every
mhm.
single citizen of the country when the election came in. Otherwise, you are not following the democratic process.
Mhm,
It's not just one way. As I said at the
mhm,
start, democracy is all about working with each other and communicating with each other and helping each other. Now,
mhm,
whether the government body or whether the association or whether the organization is responsible, if their job is to communicate and convey to the people,
mhm,
have they done that process properly? And
mhm,
vice versa, has the people responded it to that process properly?
mhm,
And if there is no response, then have they done enough consequences for those process? And this
mhm,
is where we were talking that, when you ask the question, is it needs to be changed? The electoral commission needs to change some things. They need
mhm.
to definitely change the process to be more robust, but also more to be accountable. It's not just
Right.
responsibility, it's the accountability. And electoral
Mm.
commission has to be accountable for it. See, the local
Exactly.
government, yeah, the local government, when that happened,
Mhm,
that time now people started talking about, oh, where is the responsibility, where is the accountability of the electoral commission? What were they
mm.
doing? Why it came to this far? So now they are talking about that, but that was should be before.
Yes.
Does
But
that
what I
make
was
sense?
thinking, see, no, no, it really makes sense. But then again, a question arrives
Yeah.
that, see, election commission is one body which does not get affected or impacted or influenced by any of the ruling party. Please correct me if my understanding is right. Now, my question is, if if there is an X government, and it in place of that, if it would have been a Y government, how does it matter? Are you pointing out towards the current ruling party, or you saying no, the decision was influenced or in favor of some so and so people? I just wanted to clear the cloud. Yeah.
You mean to say that is the electoral commission
Mhm.
responsible, solely responsible, or is that has a role in making these changes?
In okay, I want to put it in another way. Another way.
Yeah.
Let's go step by
Mhm.
step. The first question is that, is there any impact or influence by the ruling party in electoral commission, election commission?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because that is exactly what
Hmm.
should not be. The
Right.
ruling party or any government of the day
Hmm.
should not influence and should
Right.
not motivate the electoral
Hmm.
commission or force them to
Hmm.
do something that is not democratic. I would put it the other way around. If there
Please.
are any changes that requires by the government of the day, It
Mm-hmm.
needs to go to the people as a referendum. Like, for
Right.
example, you want to change from 3 year term to 4 year. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to say that all the political parties, if they agree in the
Mm-hmm.
parliament with a majority, then the law can be passed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, same thing, if there is any law to be changed through the electoral commission process, then it has to go through the proper referendum process. But
Mm-hmm.
as I said, like, this is, there was a reading done. This was a third reading that happened on the 16th of December. And then it was forced into the, but then it after it receives royal assent from the Governor General, although some
Mm-hmm.
provisions related to the registration of political parties.
Okay.
Now, everything that needs to be in conjunction, in cooperation with the Attorney General, with the electoral, with the parliament, with the parliamentary law, the government of the day, and the electoral commission as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if there was an amendment or there was a changes in the Electoral Act 1993,
Mm-hmm.
and they aimed, what was the aim to do that or to bring this sudden change, is to
Right.
improve the efficiency, the integrity, and resilience of elections and their operation by the Electoral Commission. Now, Electoral Commission says it's not going to make any changes by those changes because we will be needing the same amount of days as for so many years we have been using.
Mm.
So for them, from their point of view, there is no change,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
But that is why we want to ask the political parties why then requires this change.
Mm.
Why? You know. So this is very, very much important for from our point of view to discuss and to
Mm-hmm.
analyze. So
Right.
one, we can see that they wanted to change because since many years they may not have changed anything or they may not have amended anything in the electoral commission. So they thought, let's change. It has been going on for many, many years. We are in the modern day world, we are in the digital world. Let's use some certain things, which is fine. Okay.
Mm.
And that they are
Mm-hmm.
allowed to do, and that they should do with the time changing, to be honest.
Right.
However,
Mm-hmm.
the up till now, the 12 days before the election, it's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I come back to that $1 million question: why 12 days, why 13 days, why these days, how did they came to that, what research have they done?
Mm-hmm.
So this is something I wanted to just touch on that. And there were other reasons of electoral changes, like the donations, that how many declaration of donations, with
Mm-hmm.
the situation of today's world, with the economy, with the inflation, what should you allow donations that should not be the same as what they were allowing 15 years ago, 20 years ago, because now the situation is different with the
Mm.
inflation and with the everything. So they are more making allowed to the every political party, and it applies to every political party, that how much donations they can receive and how much they can't. But
Mm.
as per the latest trends, latest inflation situation, they are allowing a bit more, which is fine. Up to
Mm.
5,000, 6,000, 1,000 more they are allowing, which is fine. I am happy
Right.
with those kind of changes. So we want to make changes in the electoral commission law,
Mm-hmm.
certain things which requires, like the utilization of digital method, that
Mm-hmm.
updating the addresses, updating the information of the elector voters through electronic process. Great. I'm
Mm.
okay with that, because with the new trends you have to adopt those changes. The
Correct.
question brings back to that one silly thing of
Mm-hmm.
13 days, which will deprive. Because, see, can you make changes of human behavior? Say, last 20
Mm-hmm.
years, I have been using one bus route. And one
Mm.
fine day, you are telling me to now change the bus route. And all of a sudden, this year, you have to change it. So now
Mm.
my mind has to adjust to those changes first as a human.
Right.
So I'm just saying that, have they given enough time for the mind to change, for people to change? Have they given enough notice for people? Is it enough notice? 16 December elections next year, in September, October, the elections will come through. And
Mm.
we have got only 7, 8 months, right? Now, is it
Right.
good enough notice that they have to prepare their mindset that 13
Mm-hmm.
days prior you have to register? And that means people who have set overseas trip, until election is announced, you won't be
Right.
able to vote, irrespective of whatever it is. And
Mm.
elections will be announced 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, right? Now, in that period, if somebody has made a holiday plan,
Mm-hmm.
what are you going to do? You are going to eliminate them.
Right.
So, this is where the question is, why 13 days? Why not keep the same as last day?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't do that, you are
Mm-hmm.
depriving, as I said, like in last election, last major election, more than
Mm-hmm.
100,000 people voted on the last day, Ravi.
Oh, right.
So
Right.
just imagine, if we have a 5 million population, and if we have, say, 2 million, 3 million people are voting, and if 100,000 people are voting on the last day, and
Mm-hmm.
then there are overseas voters on top
Mm-hmm.
of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that decides a lot of things in
Mm.
this small voting situation of New Zealand country, because the population is small.
Right.
However, it is very critical, those votes. But
Mm.
if you don't allow them to vote,
Mm-hmm.
then you will get a very controlled election, according
Mm-hmm.
to me. Controlled in the sense, because they know what is the trend every year, the election percentage turnout.
Mm-hmm.
23%, 33%, if that's the turnout, or 50%, whatever that turnout is, the political parties know that this is the trend,
Mm.
and we are not now allowing many people to vote last minute, which was making a huge difference to any winning party, because we have an MMP system
Mm-hmm.
where we are, becomes a very close. And
Mm-hmm.
on that note, I want to stress this point, that next the coming election,
Mm-hmm.
as we see, as I understand, as a political kind of read through and interest and passion, I feel that this is going to be a very close election.
Mm.
So, because there are three political parties at the moment currently ruling, but then also Labour, and then Greens and Maori has got a lot of turmoil, a lot of situations going on there as well.
Mm. Mm.
And people are trying to make up their mind, who to vote, who not to vote, who is better, who is not better.
Mm.
And they won't be able to make it until the last minute, to be honest. New Zealanders are
Mm.
quite, as per my experience, they vote quite late, quite last minute.
Right.
And so that changing of mindset is not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. And who will advantage or who will benefit is this is a big question, because what up till the trend was showing that people who vote last day, their votes
Mm-hmm.
get counted after 2 weeks. The results were declared after 2 weeks. Now they were saying that we want to eliminate that 2 weeks. That's why 2 weeks prior they are
Mm-hmm.
asking to enroll, so that the week so that they was thinking that within a week or within 2 weeks the result will be announced. But
Mm.
electoral commission says no, it's not going to work, it's not going to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you enroll 2 weeks before, we will
Mm-hmm.
take that much time itself, because overseas voters also needs to be counted, irrespective of whether they enroll and they vote. Okay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
See, if you enroll 13
Mm-hmm.
days prior
Mm-hmm.
and you vote after that, you can't enroll. But you will vote on the last day also, you can vote, right?
Right.
So enrolling is fine 13 days
Mm.
prior, but that doesn't mean that you are easy or efficient to count. No, because I will enroll myself 13 days
Mm-hmm.
prior, but I will vote on the last day of the voting.
Mm.
So what's going to make a difference in the counting process?
Right.
Not much.
Not much.
So
Right.
I
Right.
I think that it's a very interesting kind of a election year. And I
Mm.
think most of these political parties, they think that, they may have a very close finish. So they
Mm-hmm.
want to eliminate certain facts that
Mm.
they can control the election in a proper way. And when I say that control means like they know their voters, they know their trends, regular. New Zealand is
Mhm.
quite good in that regards when it comes to polling and when it comes to the exit polls. They're
Right.
quite good. They're
But
quite good.
one question, I mean, before we end the session, I wanted to understand one question.
Yeah.
What, as a common people, what can we do, if we have like, in India, we have a information right, right?
Yeah.
You can just fill the form and you can ask query or question, and government has authority and
Mm.
responsibility to reply even to, simple query. Now, my
Yeah.
question is, do you have any information which you can throw right away in this forum, so the person like me can go ahead and try to seek that information and ask a query from the government?
Yeah, well, under the Official Information Act, irrespective of whoever passes the law, majority, minority,
Mhm.
whatever, the law is passed.
Right.
And then, the next term or the any
Hmm.
government term, they can U-turn the law as well.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
it's a very flexible. But
Hmm.
what I'm saying that, once the law is passed, generally, I don't like to see changes if it is for the betterment of the country, if it is betterment for the people, if it
Hmm.
is betterment for the nation. I would say, and I would ask everyone, in my view, is
Hmm.
if you want to understand why these 13 days
Hmm.
has been done, what is the rationality behind, what are the advantages and benefits as a person you will get,
Okay.
rather than as a political party.
Hmm.
Political party may have their own benefits in
Hmm.
doing this, but what
Okay.
I would urge everyone to ask, what benefit are you going to get, or are you going
Hmm.
to just listen to the political parties that they have passed the law and you can't do anything about it, which is fine. Now you want to change, you change it in the next government, you change the government if you don't like it. Is that what it is? Or I still have got something to actually dwell on and ask for my satisfaction. I need to know what benefits, why did they did this, what they did, basically. So that questions, I think it is up to everyone to ask
Hmm.
whether they are benefiting out of it or not, as a democratic rule, as a democratic right, as a democratic entitlement. Every
Hmm.
single citizen has got the right to ask this question: what benefits are
Hmm.
they getting? Right?
Hmm.
So I think this is very important for us to understand,
Hmm.
Ravi, that all people
Right.
need to ask that question under the Official Information Act. They can always go that. They can always do that.
OIA, you mean to say the
Yeah,
OIA, right?
yeah,
Right.
OIA.
So, like we have a RTI in India, similar way we have a OIA, and
Absolutely.
anybody can go ahead and write emails to an
Yep.
internal communication or government,
Yeah.
and we can ask an information about the policy advice, briefing
Mm.
papers, report data, statistics, anything.
Yeah.
So that is something which we can certainly do that, and once we come back in our next session, we can talk about it more. So before I
Mm.
let you go, I wanted to hear from you. First of all, thank you so much for your time, and it is really eye opener,
Mm.
discussion. So what is next? What is upcoming session, and what are we going to talk about it?
Oh, I think I importantly think that we need to talk about this amazing topic. One is, I
Hmm.
was telling you about the business confidence, because for business people,
Right.
for small, because 90% more than are SME in New Zealand, and I think it's
Hmm.
very important for all businesses to understand where they stand, what they have, what they can do at this time of economic. And then we can also talk along that lines. We can talk
Hmm.
about the what does free trade agreement between India is going to benefit. I want
Right.
that also to be a topic. But
Hmm.
most another important topic that I want to understand before the election point of view
Hmm.
is, let's talk about an informed decision of
Hmm.
voting
Right.
by for everyone, because all the political parties have got a slogan or identity, I would say.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
if suppose Labor says, oh, we are socialist, or we are
Hmm.
communist, some
Hmm.
people say.
Right.
National say they are capitalists, or they are
Hmm.
invest in those kind of
Hmm.
things. Greens are
Right.
all environmental. And then NZ First is all about putting New Zealand first.
Mm.
And so act is saying that we it is all about, equal regulations, wasting of money on less, wasting of money on the politicians, more
Mm.
giving power to the people than to the
Right.
politicians. Everybody stands for a different identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about this for the election sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're capitalist, socialist, or conservative, or whatever, green, environmentalist, whatever you say, at the end of the day, you
Mm-hmm.
know, they all have to work together, and they
Mm-hmm.
all have to work for the people, by the people, and of the people. They have to work. So I personally feel that,
Mm-hmm.
is this a identity crisis for the people?
All
Are
right.
you being played by the political parties
Mm-hmm.
with this slogan so that you become a group,
Mm-hmm.
you become a supporter of that identity, or
Mm-hmm.
you want to become a supporter of the direction of the nation?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever brings and takes the nation to the betterment of the country as a whole
Mm.
needs to be understand with the policies, and policies are
Mm.
more important than this identity. I may
Right.
be capitalist, I may be socialist, but if my policy is for the betterment of the country, then I need to vote that party or that person,
Mm.
not the identity crisis that we have currently. So I
Mm.
want to really dwell on that topic because it is very critical and important that we get we become victim of this identity, and then become group. I want to support Labor, I want to support National, or I want to support Green, just because of
Right.
their identity. I don't think that identity should be the norm, because that's a
Mm-hmm.
tradition, that's a status quo that has been going on. But I think if we
Mm-hmm.
are living in a changing environment in the modern day world where technology and social media and digital is so much part and parcel of our life, that we can get
Mm-hmm.
information about anyone and everyone anytime. Why do you
All
need
right.
an identity crisis for that? And that is stopping the people from
Mm-hmm.
actually voting the right policy. That is stopping it.
Mm.
That is like making, I like this identity, so I'm going to vote this identity rather than
Mm-hmm.
policy. Do you like policy or you like to be identity? So this is very important from my perspective. It's I want to open the eyes of the people that, hey, don't vote based on identity, vote based on policies, vote based
Perfect.
on what is going to happen to you, to your family, to your child, to your wife, to your mother. What's going to happen, this policy, how is going to affect? That's where you vote.
Exactly. No, no, rightly. And see, to whom you vote, we are nobody to tell you. But
No,
the
we
important
can't.
is, please come out and vote. That is the most
Absolutely.
important thing. Do not
100%.
waste your opportunity, which is there,
Yeah,
the power in your hand. That's why the democracy is all about, right? So yes, with
100%.
that, we are signing off. So thank you so much again, Shailesh sir. And we at Webfit News, and also, we
Yeah.
are at here, in collaboration with NJ World News. Thank you so much for your time, and see you next time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Ravi. And I'm looking
Most
forward
welcome.
to our next topic, which is also going to
Yep,
be very
definitely.
interesting. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.